Hello everybody, this is Ethan with WiseCrack Studios, and this is sort of a weird idea for a video. I kind of wanted to talk about the idea of failure. Failure is failure. Everybody's experienced it. It's you fail at something, you feel bad about it, and you either have the option to dwell on it or keep moving forward. Now, when you're working and when you're mixing and when you're producing, failure is something you really don't want to hit the roadblock of. If you are failing at something, it means that you are hitting a roadblock, you are losing creative potential there. You could even go as far as to lose a client if you are failing bad enough. Now, for a lot of people, it becomes a cyclical thing of you fail and then you think that you're doing bad, which makes you feel worse, which makes you feel worse, which makes you fail worse, and then it creates a cycle. Now, I've pulled up this song in particular because that sort of started with me, and I was able to find a way to get out of that. But I just wanted to go over this song really quickly because you'll hear it immediately where this one immediately kind of went wrong. And I wanted to go over little changes that I did that just added a little bit of creativity to things that were able to help things separate a little bit better. Now, in this song, at this point that I have ready to play, it's kind of a wall of sound. And it's supposed to be a big wall of sound, guitars in your face, etc., etc. But it kind of just becomes mud in this version, and I'll play it for you in a second just so that you can get the idea, but it's not exactly what I wanted it to be, and it all just kind of becomes a garbled mess. A little something like this.
Told me that I was your only hope, but it seems you could have done this all along. Glad to help and I can't wait to see you all again one day. But for now, 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 I gotta be on my way, citizen.
Now, in this version of the song, you can't really make out most of the lead guitar parts. The rhythm guitar parts are sort of like pushed down a lot in volume in order to sort of not overblow the entire thing. As you can see, I've got a submix that I set up and something to go after it just so that I could pull down faders a bit more. Because as you can see, it would be clipping real bad as it is right now. Now, with this song, I was having the worst of trouble, especially we had already hit the mixing phase on it. What I ended up having to do was I brought the guitarist back, and we had to re-record almost all of the lead guitar parts. It's one of those things that you never really want to admit that you failed, and that basically you're going to have to bring other people into things to fix your mistakes. But in this situation, it's something that I had to do, and by being able to have that chance to play around with even just something as basic as guitar amp settings, I was able to get a much better recording that sounded a little something like this.
Told me that I was your only hope, but it seems you could have done this all along. Glad to help and I can't wait to see you all again one day. But for now, 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 I gotta be on my way, citizen.
Even just being able to go through and mess with the amp settings a little bit made it to where the bidextral guitar part, I really raised up the treble, lowered the presence a little bit. The actual rhythm guitar part, I turned down the mids a whole bunch and sort of messed with everything just so that it sounded more like a rhythm guitar part, etc., etc., etc. This way, everything has its own sound, its own unique sound, even if just by a little bit. But it makes it to where if I put the two guitar parts right up on each other, they're not going to sort of blend into being just one garbled mess. They're going to sound just a little bit different enough to where they're going to be distinct as to what they are doing. Now, sort of my point to this video, and I think I'd sort of iterated on this before, but I just wanted to sort of drive it home, was the idea that just because you failed at something doesn't mean that you can't learn from it, grow from it, and just keep going. In this case, I went back and I re-recorded, and I got something significantly better than what I got the first time. In some cases, it's been mixing. I know I did that video on, I called it mixing mistakes. It was a nice little thing that I thought was good at the time, but then now I would absolutely change it. If you can look at something that you've worked on before and think, I could do better, that is the key that you are getting better. In this case, it's production. In the case of the mixing mistakes video, it was mixing. Just overall, the fact that you think that you can do better means that you can do better. You are capable of doing better. And so that's the thing that I want for you to think about with that. As for me, this has been Ethan with WiseCrack Studios, and I hope that you have a lovely day.